Rain is falling on the town as you, dear listener, wander through a new village you come across on one of your ventures from another kingdom. You're delivering a message to the ruler of another land. Your king has entrusted you with this task as you are one of his own trusted messengers and advisors. As you trek deeper into the town, there is an inn that catches your eye. The Seven Daggers Inn is its name. The wooden sign outside speaks with the cold air from the rain. It seems to be getting late. You wouldn't want the Zera Thunderbirds to scoop you up and make you its supper. You decide that you must head into the inn at once to get some well-deserved rest and food.
Oh, welcome. I'll be right with you in just a moment, okay? Oh, God. That wretched sister of mine. Not putting her garments away. My. What a shame. Hello. Welcome to our inn. Must close this door behind me here. Welcome, weary traveler. How does it go? How do you fare? May I get you something to drink? A classic mead, I see. Please don't mind the mess around here. It is quite a mess, if you can imagine why. Because I have a very unruly sibling that is quite the mess maker. Of course, she doesn't really pick up after herself, which is unfortunate after many years of mother's teachings. It is a shame. It is quite a shame. However, that is solely the purpose that Father entrusted the inn with me. I'm sorry. My dearest apologies. Enough about me. How are you? You said that you wanted a mead. Coming right up. And for your food, you were thinking of lentils. I see. A classic. Very good choice, if I may say so. Please give me a moment while I go and fetch that. And here's your mead. Now please wait just a moment for the lentils to be ready. Now, what brings you in here? I see. Just trying to escape the rain, yes? I completely understand. I would too. I would come into a nice cozy inn myself just to escape the rain. Lucky for you. You came into the right place because here at the Seven Daggers Inn, we take good care of ourselves and our customers. This is actually my first night running the inn myself, if you can believe that. Most of the patrons are in their sleeping quarters, of course. They were in here just a moment ago, partying and celebrating a win. They took down quite the large game. And they brought it here for me to cut up and make into a stew. I honestly didn't mind it, because this was a Kendron goblin. I'm sure you're familiar with that. Are you from around these parts? Oh, you're not? Well, let me tell you something. The Kendron goblin species is one of the most violent in our area. They took down quite a lot of good people, especially people I found dear to me. However, these goblins are very, very nutritional. They have quite a lot of meat to them. Think of it like a pig. There's different sections to the pig. Or rather, think of it like cattle. There's different cuts to the meat. These are very big creatures that are very violent and have very tough skin, so their meat is not too tender. However, the young ones are very tender because their skin is not damaged by battle. So we try, whenever we do have a Kendron goblin feast, we do try to capture and take in the young ones so that their meat is more enjoyable. However, I'm not the cook. I'm simply just... I'm sorry. The lentils look like they're done. Give me one moment. Let me go fetch them for you. And here you are, your lentils. Now where was I? I'm sorry. You probably don't want to hear this, do you? Oh, you don't mind at all? Well, wonderful. Father always said I had a mouth that wouldn't stop. But it seems like you don't really care. Alright, well, I will get back to it then. Where was I? Ah, yes, I was talking about the Kendron goblins. They have very good meat. However, if there was any left, I would give you some. But, unfortunately, they ate it all up. There was at least 6 or 7 people in here. They took down this one big goblin. Of course, they didn't bring the whole goblin in. Just dragging that thing through the city, it would be a disgrace to the king. What a horrible, horrible stench that creature had. I had to open up all the windows. God's blessing sent down the rain to wash away and whisk that wretched scent away. The only downside of having their meat is that their flesh and their bodies just reek pretty badly. Think of it like a jackfruit. It's horrible. Enough about that though. Are the lentils to your liking? That is wonderful. That is wonderful news. I've been kind of nervous, shooken by having the responsibility to do all this by myself. Of course, the cook is back there, but the cook he's doing something back there. He's probably practicing his magic. Yes, indeed, he is a sorcerer. He owes my father and my mother a great deal of debt, so therefore he's working as our cook for the foreseeable future. It is quite a blessing to have somebody else in the... I'm sorry? Of course. You can room with us. You may have a... Yes. No problem. I'll get you. We'll check to see if we have any larger rooms for you. However, that is going to cost a little more. Our standard rooms start at 66 Chinese, and our larger rooms start at 145 Chinese. However, the larger room comes with your own. You'll take the larger... Okay. Sounds good to me. I will be right back. Let me go check for you, okay? Hello. Alright. Lucky for you, there is one more room for you. The larger suite, of course. We'll get that right and sorted for you. I will clean that up before you go to bed. Why, yes. Of course, of course. You are my first customer that hasn't been yelling at me, hasn't been screaming in my face, so I appreciate the calm and peacefulness of your presence. Oh, me? My name? I don't like to give my name out to strangers, however, I don't think I have anything to lose. I don't have any enemies, at least not that I know of. My name is Lazarus, and yours? What a beautiful name. A strong name, my father would say. However, let me tell you something about my father and my mother. They are not my, I guess, paternal mother and father. I was taken in after my original mother and father. They threw me out to the street after I was hanging out with people that were not the best of company, which I do admit that I was in the wrong for. However, they weren't breaking the law or anything like that. They were taken in prisoners for no reason. However, that was in my other town. I haven't lived here all my life. I mean, I technically have, but it's only been about 14 years. When I was younger, all my friends, they got arrested, and they were tried before the king. 2 of them, they were brutally executed by the king himself, and the other 4 are in a dungeon, in a jail. I don't know their current status. It's been over 13 years since I've last seen them, and I miss them quite a lot. However, they were not the best of people, but they were fun. They were a lot of fun. I will say that you remind me quite a bit of them. You are cool. You are rebellious. It just seems like it. I don't really know much about you, but just from your look, you look like you would be a very interesting person to get to know. What brings you to our town anyway? Ah, I see. You are from the town of Northfell. That is quite a ways away. And I see that. Heaven guide you to your destination. Where is your destination, if I may ask? It's this area. that is a beautiful city. I hope that the sun and the stars guide you to your destination safely. It is no problem. No problem. There's no need to thank me. I simply wish for the well-being of others. I'm sorry? Why is this tavern called Seven Daggers? Well, my adoptive father, he named it after me, actually. Me and my previous warrior team. We were all, private warriors for a very wealthy individual. However, I choose not to share the name just out of respect for them, and I hope you understand that. Yes, wonderful. Thank you for respecting that. I would like to say that the Seven Daggers, that is what we were called. I used to be a warrior, and I would basically be a bodyguard for this individual alongside 6 of my good colleagues. Not the ones I mentioned earlier that are in the jail and that have been executed. However, these are a new group of people that I used to have as my good companions. Yes, they were my good companions. We knew each other like inside and out. And what happened to them, you ask? Oh my. Oh, the sun forgive them. They were brutally murdered. Brutally murdered. It is quite an unfortunate fate that brings me pain even to this day. Do you remember those Kendron goblin creatures I mentioned to you earlier? Yes. We were ambushed by 16 of them. 7 versus a team of 16 goblins. We thought that we had the proper amount of power and strength to fight them. We were all pretty unique in our abilities. I have fire breathing, and I am also a warrior who carries a sword around. I still wield my sword to this day in honor of all my colleagues that have passed away. Yes. They were brutally murdered by their spears and their weapons. My God, just the image of it. Oh my God, what a horrifying fate. I wish that for nobody, not even my worst enemies. Oh my. Quite a few things have happened in my life that have been very traumatic for me. However, I choose to keep going on and on because I know that at the end of my life, I will be rewarded greatly. Indeed. I know that. So, the 7 Daggers. The 7 Daggers are what we used to be called, and since I am the only surviving part of that company, I hold the title of the seventh dagger themselves. I was the only one that survived. And I regret it all. I really, really wish that things could have gone differently. I would have preferred to die by the sides of my brothers and sisters. But it's much too unfortunate. My sincerest apologies. I do not mean to break down in front of you here. Oh my. I knew them like they were family. Family. Oh my. I will avenge them one day. When I am stronger, when I am more powerful, I will avenge them. They will. Their spirits, their souls will be free one day. And I choose to stay here and figure my life out first. And then from there, I will do a lot of planning and preparing for this great adventure. No, you don't think I should do it? Not alone? Well then what do you suggest? Not a bad idea. However, the Warriors Guild is just south from here. Perhaps I could ask. But the thing I'm most fearful of are not the goblins. I'm scared of building a bond with these warriors that I will recruit. But once we go into the village of the goblins, I'm afraid that I will lose them too. I simply just cannot bear to do this. I need to do this alone. And so what if I die? What if I die? At least I'll go down fighting, and not like a coward. Heavens. I apologize. I have become far too comfortable with you, and I apologize for basically just telling you all of my problems. Please, have this meal on me. What? You don't want me to? No, please, I insist. Okay. I appreciate it. You really are helping my father's tavern. Yes, we are a tavern and an inn. Our inn is more popular, though, I will say that. Yes, you may ask any question you like. Okay. Very interesting you asked that. My blindfold here, I've had to wear it for almost all my life. Because when I was younger, I got thrown into a prison. It was not by the law, it was not by the king, it was by a very scary and unfortunate, mentally ill individual. They thought that I was their partner in life when I have never met them in my life. I felt bad for that old guy, for that old geezer. However, that man was not only after my body, he was after my face too. He did things to me. He gouged out my eyeball, my right eye. It has no eye. It is gone. My left eye. No, I mustn't. You mustn't know about that. My left eye is none of your business. I apologize for sounding so harsh on you, but my left eye is something that shall never be uncovered. However, I use echolocation to figure out where my belongings and my things are. Do you see my fins here on my face? I know where things are. Thanks to the fish women and the fish men who taught me how to use echolocation when I cannot use my eyes. I see. Would you like another pint of mead? No problem. Let me go get that. Here you are. You know, you are very, very interesting. I must say, you are a very good listener. In what rank are you for your kingdom? You are the king's advisor. Wow, advisor, huh? What a very busy and stressful job that may be. I know nothing of it, but I imagine that you are a very hard worker. Indeed. And I'm very pleased to have met you. You look very tired. Let me take you to your room. Come on. Up these stairs we go.